Many South Africans prepare for a shopping frenzy tomorrow. Others will spend Black Friday shopping online to avoid the chaos at stores. So what are the pros and cons of traditional hands-on shopping compared to doing it online? Well, consumer journalist Wendy Knowler joining us now from our Durban studio this morning. Wendy, a very good morning to you, and I'm sure a very, very busy time. Lots of food for thought for you today. Let's talk about online versus actually braving those queues and going into the shop physically. Just give us the pros and cons of both things.
Okay, so for one thing, you can start shopping from 1 minute past midnight tonight, which many people will do. So let's hope that those sites can stand the onslaught. Last year, South Africa's biggest online retailer, Takealot, their site collapsed at one point in the morning, but they still managed to have record visits to their site. I think it was 2.2 million in that one day, which set a new record. So there's that, and you don't have to get dressed up, and you don't have to stand in long checkout queues and all that sort of thing. And I think there's less chance that you're going to be swept up in the whole FOMO and hype of the event if you're just sitting alone in your jammies in your bedroom with your laptop or your smartphone, than if you're in store and it's all this, 70% off, 80% off. I think the chances that you'll be swept up in that are a little bit minimized when you're sitting alone in your home doing your online shopping.
Now, there are ways to protect yourself, whether you are doing this online or whether you're actually going into a store. Just, you've got some very handy tips, 4 tips to protect yourself online on Black Friday. Let's talk about online there.
Okay, so there are a lot of security tips around the sites that you visit. I think stick to the tried and tested, the big ones. Be on the lookout for sneaky ones that are going to be out there looking to cash in on this big day, and maybe hoping people's guard is down. So you've got to look for that little lock on the site. And I think the other thing for me as a consumer journalist is to look at the returns policies, because there's a very big chance there'll be buyer's remorse the next day. So the other advantage of online is that you have 7 days to return anything you've bought, even if there's nothing wrong with it. You have to send it back at your cost, but the supplier must refund you. Whereas if you buy something in a store, know that there's no legal obligation on the store to take back something unless it's defective. So you don't have a legal right to go back the next day or the next week and say, I don't want this anymore, give me my money back. They might give you a credit note or an exchange, but legally they don't have to. So that's the other huge advantage of online versus in-store.
So what are the questions then that you should actually ask yourself to avoid that buyer's remorse? What are the questions you should ask yourself while you are shopping around, whether it's online or whether you're actually in that store following the queues?
Okay, so we just heard on the news there that the interest rate could go up, so you need to ask yourself, separate wants from needs on Good Friday. So will you still want that pair of shoes or that jacket or that whatever 2, 3, 4 months from now, when you're still paying it off on your credit card or whatever at perhaps a higher interest rate? So the people who really score out of Black Friday are the ones who've really done their homework. They've worked towards this all year. They've waited to buy the fridge, the flat screen, even the air ticket. And they wait for that day. They know exactly what the price normally is and how much they stand to save. And they're very targeted and focused and don't get sidetracked by all the balmy stuff going on all around them at this time. So those are the people who are really, really going to score out of this day. And for the rest of us, bear in mind, almost 39% of we South Africans are blacklisted, to use the colloquial term. We're more than 3 months behind in our payments or have a judgment on our credit records. So very sorry to be a killjoy, but it's always a good idea to bear that in mind and separate your wants from your needs and avoid that casino-like dopamine hit of, yes, I'm going to save 70% or 30% or whatever. It's not worth it if it's going to put you in a really bad financial position or give you an adverse credit record.
So what would be a reasonable saving if you were to wonder, is this really a good deal? What would be, if it was 50%? And often I think that people are going to put things on sale that they can't sell any other time of the year, but that's just me being suspicious. I don't know.
Yeah, that is a cynical view, but not without merit, I think. And the other thing that happens with any big blockbuster sale is you'll get a manipulated special. So it will say 50% off, but actually they slightly elevated the price in the run-up to Black Friday and then put it down again. So again, the sharp shoppers are going to know what the price normally is and be wise to that. So I would say, you know, funnily enough, 10 years ago, I attended a Black Friday. I attended a Black Friday in Boulder, Colorado, with my sister, and there the saving, you know, it was 75% off, 80% off, much higher than we see here. So, I mean, for every person, the saving will be, a good saving will be different, and it's depending how much you want the item as well. But I think be very wary of the up to, so they'll put the infamous up to, so it'll be up to 50, up to 60, up to 70, but within that there's going to be a very wide band, so be very careful. Look at the saving on an individual item rather than a group of goods that says up to, because there's a very broad band. As I say, it could be 40%, it could be 20%.
Just get carried away. Okay, thanks very much, Wendy. Some handy tips there, and she knows what she's talking about, and because she's a consumer journalist, she's been watching these areas for a very long time. Well.